Today I'm going to show you how you can set up your search bar for your blog wherever you would like to place it using Corvid. What's up, you guys? Thanks for tuning in with your boy Nino. I got a tutorial for you guys today on how you can set up your search bar for your blog using Corvid, okay? Also known as Wix Code. So let's get started. All right, so exactly what I want to do is I want to start in my dev mode. All right, that's the first thing I want to do. I want to go up to my dev mode and I want to turn my dev mode off. If you guys, excuse me, don't do that. Sorry, turn your dev mode on. All right, just wanted to say I'm leaving off from actually one of my past videos, which I'm gonna actually put in the right hand corner as I speak right now. And this is actually about Wix comments, okay? So you can put Wix blog comments on to your blog post page and actually have that be useful for, you know, any type of blog that you have posted onto your Wix site. All right, and it actually is a informational and very informative approach on how to put your comments on there. So might as well just go on that over there after this video. But right now I want to actually focus in on the search bar. Okay, so essentially I'm going to be working off of my post page. Okay, but you can easily put this anywhere you would like. And then have different types of modes on how to use the things, and I'll get more into that later in the video. All right, but essentially I have this over here. This is my site structure. You can easily access that over here on the side. So that's how I got to my post. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and scroll down. I already have some of this input stuff already designed up, so if you guys need me to go into any designing, I'm not going to actually do that right now because I actually did that in my previous tutorials. All right, but if you want, you guys could go up to my uploads and you can actually find those videos there, or essentially you can just head on over in the right hand corner as I speak right now, and I'll have a link in there to all of the content that I have for blogs. Okay, so make sure you go and check that out. But right now, I just wanted to say that I'm actually going to go ahead and say where I got these items from, okay? Just so you guys would know. And also, I'm actually working with the multi-state box. Plug here, I actually talk about multi-state box in another tutorial too. So I'm going to put that in the right hand corner as I speak right now. Very informative, and you should definitely, it's like a need to know. It definitely helps out the flow of your website. Trust me on this, guys. It works. All right, so essentially where I got this input element from is I actually went over to add, and then I just scrolled down to input. You see this word name input. All right, and then I just went over to text input, and then I just dragged that on over and I styled it up the way I wanted it to. And easily I got one of these vector items right here. So as you can see, this is a vector art. So vector elements, you can actually get those from decorative. All right, so you go into decorative, you go to featured, and oh, Halloween time. All right, let's get spooky. But anyways, so you can go to all vectors, and then you can just go into the search bar and actually type in search tool or something like that, and you'll find it eventually. So head on over there, and then you can just style it up however you want by using the design button here. Okay, so in this tutorial, I'm actually going to be using my side menu bar, okay? And I'm going to be using this input element, and also I'm going to be using a Lightbox, all right? And where you can find that Lightbox is if you head on over to add, just head on over to interactive, and you'll see that here is Lightboxes right here, okay? Lightboxes. All right, so just go ahead and grab one of these suckers here. I actually went to welcome, and I got this little template right here, and I just dragged it on over, and then I styled it up the way I wanted to. All right, but I'll get onto that essentially after I finish up with the blog post page, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna delete these here, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna have an onKeyPress item, and then also we're gonna have a double click function here as well. All right, so let's get started. So I'm gonna go ahead down here to my post page code, all right, box, and I'm going to just go ahead and scroll this thing up a little bit. I'm just gonna show you just, this part here. You guys really don't need this after this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and maximize it. All right, so as you can see, this is the code that I had done previous on all my other previous videos. So go ahead and check those things out. But I'm gonna start fresh, and I'm gonna start down here. Okay, but what I want to do first of all is go back to my site. So that's why I pulled it up all the way here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna click on search post. All right, that's my ID. That is my input item. And I'm gonna go over here to onKeyPress, all right? So onKeyPress, I'm gonna create that function. It popped up like that. If you don't see it, don't worry about it. Just click enter, or just click off of it, or just press enter. I'm gonna press enter in this scenario, just to give you guys a little bit of knowledge on how you can do that without, seeing it. So I'm gonna go ahead and move this up a little bit. We're gonna head on and go ahead and delete some of this stuff down here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do to speed up some things on this tutorial is just go ahead and plop this code in real quick, and then we'll then pick up from there, okay? So give me just 1 second. All right, so we're back here, guys. All right, and so what I'm gonna actually tell you guys is that I actually deal with Wix window. Okay, so if you want to just go ahead and import that module in, go ahead and do that. You just have to go all the way up to the top here and just put in import Wix window, and then everything else will follow. It will show you like a little pop-up screen, just like I'll show you here. And then you just scroll down to Wix window, which I'm gonna go in the opposite direction. Yeah, just scroll down to Wix window, click that, and then it'll easily pop up there. All right, so that's just a little quick tip right there. All right, so let's go ahead and scroll back down. All right, so what I'm doing here is onKeyPress. All right, whenever my visitor is typing in, a certain type of value, I want to actually capture all of that. All right, capture all of those values or input values that is inside of this input element. All right. And so I'm just waiting to see if they press enter. If they don't press enter, then hey, they don't want to search anything, okay? But if they do press enter, I want to be able to actually get that event key and log it in and then fire an action off of that. All right, so that's why I have this here, the set timeout. All right, set timeout is basically looking at anything that's happening on KeyPress, all right? And essentially you will see if after 200ths of a second, if someone put any type of value down, it will then fire this event. All right, so if, say for instance, I'm typing in a word and then I press enter, this is the code for it to fire. All right, so basically after its timeout runs out, it will then go through this whole entire function here that I have. So I have if event.key. All right, this is getting your keystrokes. All right, and if it is equal to enter, then it will then go to the Wix window Lightbox option. All right, so in this tutorial I actually have a Lightbox that's called search, and I actually made that. All right, so essentially you're going to be able to make your own type of search bar, all right, or a search tool for your Wix blog. All right, so what I have here is I have a search parameter, and then also here I have a .then. So this happens after the Lightbox closes. It's going to go ahead and nullify that value, okay, because it's going to a new post page, or it's coming off the post, or you actually canceled and you don't want that to be used anymore. All right. You guys can do whatever you want in this .then. You don't even have to have a .then, okay? If you do want a .then and you want some action to happen after the Lightbox closes on this page, then you be my guest, okay? And put all the information you need right into the .then section. All right, so now that we're almost done with that, we want to do one more item, okay? And that is if the person has double clicked the search item element. And so we're gonna go ahead and add that down here. All right, and I'm gonna go ahead and get through to my code, but essentially I'm gonna speed this up. All right, so I don't actually have to have that set timeout to actually register all of the information that it pulls from the person that's typing, because essentially the person that's going to be typing is going to have to type first and then click. Okay, if they click and type at the same time, then that's awesome. But essentially what it's going to do is do the same exact event fire that it does when it sees a key stroke of enter. Okay, so essentially I wanted to go ahead and go over this right here. All right, this is a conditional statement here. So basically what it's saying is if the value's length is greater than 0, then we're going to go ahead and submit that value as the search parameter. But if it's nothing, just put in null. All right, and I'll go over that in a few seconds once we head over to the Lightbox and we get that Lightbox code started. Okay, but essentially we're actually sending over data elements. All right, so this is going to be your data element, and essentially I'm going to go ahead and just come out here and just say let data equal, and then I'm going to go ahead and capture this whole thing so that it won't be so confusing for you guys. All right, and it will be more so a lot better and readable. All right, so data right there. All right, so that's the data that's going to be submitted over to your Lightbox. All right, so essentially I'm going to do that down here as well, just so that everybody is on the same page. All right, so boom. So now that we have that, what we want to do is we're going to go over to the search Lightbox. All right, so let's go ahead and head on over to search Lightbox. I'm going to bring this Lightbox page code down just a little bit. All right, so as you can see here, I have styled up my Lightbox. So let me go ahead and get this code written out, and then I'll go ahead and explain it. All right, so I got the code now showing for you guys, and what I'm going to talk to you guys about is actually this received. All right, so if you guys go ahead, put in import data location window, and I don't think you need Wix animations right now. Sorry about that, guys. So you guys don't need to put that in there. But essentially on your onReady function, you're going to receive information. Remember what we did when I was on the post page talking about the search input element, okay? And I was actually sending that data over to the Wix Lightbox. So this is what the receiver is doing, okay? So it's receiving that information. So it says Wix window.lightbox.get context, okay? If, and I wrote here, if received, that means if an item is present, then go inside of that item and pick out this particular item. Now this will be helpful for future tutorials because essentially I'm going to be talking about how you can exchange data from Lightbox, from the Lightbox and back to the main page. But essentially right now, this is how you do a simpler version of that, okay? And so exactly I have here receive.searchParam, and that is actually going inside of the data element that I had there, and I had it in brackets, okay? So I had it in a JSON, all right? And that was pushed up to my received element here, and I can now go inside of that dictionary, if you will, and take out that element value or that null element, all right? So if this receive.searchParam, if that's true that there's an element there and not a null, it's gonna go through here and it's gonna place that value into the received search param, okay? And then put in the input, all right? So this input one right here, all I did was I went down through the events bar, and I just go ahead and I clicked on it. So it would show up as a plus item, plus button there right next to here. And I just clicked that and I just clicked enter. Okay. So essentially it showed up here. Now that we're here, we're gonna do a search function on this particular item that is placed into this input one element. All right. So essentially that's what I did here. I actually put that in there. All right. So then I went here and I ran this function, and I will show you what this function is all about. All right. So give me 1 second as I code up a little bit more. All right. So as you can see here, I put some elements down here, and then I put some coding into here. All right. And essentially what this code is showing you is what we're going to use in order to start the process of the search. All right. So essentially you're going to have the clear timeout here, and then you're going to have an input timeout, and you're going to set that input timeout to a set timeout of 0.03 of a second. All right. And in this 0.03 of a second timeout, what we're going to do is actually go and find out if that input element has a value of a length that is greater than 0. If it does, it's going to expand this results box, okay, and then also it's going to show this cancel button, all right, that we have hidden right now. As you can see, you can just go over here to hide that button. All right, so essentially what you're going to do is we're going to put this information into a search data function, and I'm going to get to that function after this explanation. All right, and then also it's going to have a cancel button click, all right, item. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and add that to the page code here. All right, just like I said, just click it and then press enter. All right, essentially that error goes away. All right, so we're finished with that debugging of the cancel button. All right, so essentially I'm going to go ahead and include items about the search data and about the cancel button. So just give me 1 second as I put that code down. So there you have it. I have the information about the code here. Now I'm just going to go ahead and further explain this a little bit just for you guys that don't know about code. All right, essentially what I'm doing for this cancel button up here is so I'm wiping out everything, okay? I'm wiping out the value, I'm wiping out the data that's behind there, and then also I'm going to wipe out the expanding boxes that are there by using this input one blur. And that means essentially we don't want to recreate the wheel and create the same code and place it in this cancel button click area. We want to use that input one blur function repeatedly. So essentially we're just going to add that to the cancel button so that it can then close up any type of box that we have here. All right, or even hide the button. All right, so essentially what we're going to do here is we're going to talk about the search data. All right, and this is the juicy part of the tutorial, the search data. All right, and so exactly right here, I'm going to go ahead and take this out. I don't think you guys need to have that, but really what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be querying the database. All right, querying this blog database right here. And how do we do that? Essentially, this is how we do it. All right, we come over here and we're going to go ahead and create a label named query post SQ. Okay, this is just going to be an alias for this Wix data.query blog post. All right, and so what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and put that through, and then what we're going to do is query post. All right, these are going to be our query items that we're going to be attaching to the query post SQ. And essentially we're going to be a query post SQ dot contains title, and this is going to be of the parameter. This is going to be the parameter that we were originally putting in, which was the input one value here. All right, so essentially what we're going to do here is we're going to put the parameter here. All right, and then we're going to make an await so that we can wait for this information to be put onto the query post. All right, and we're going to use these OR statements to search through all of the different field items that are inside of post, okay, inside of the blog post database. So now what we want to do is we're going to look at the await. All right, and the await is actually gathering all of this information together so it can put it into our query to have it find the different types of posts that match the parameter item. Then we're going to make this .then function an async function. All right, and we're going to be able to wait for that information to be loaded correctly in a timely manner. All right, so essentially we're going to say if these results.items.length is greater than 0, then we're going to go ahead and collapse this no results box, and we're going to share those results with those visitors that are looking up on your site. All right, so essentially you just go here, put post items equals res.items, and then what we're going to do here is we're going to put those post items into the data right here. All right, the reason why I have post items up here, and that is right here, as you can see, the reason why I have that here is because when we're actually using the cancel button here, all right, and we cancel everything out, or we go on blur, okay, let's say we just go on blur. Yes, let's just say that we go on blur. If we go back into this input here and we want to share the results back, we can easily share those results back in a timely manner without ever having to skip a beat and try to search everything else again. All right, so basically we're going to be putting this into our repeater, which is called results repeater, and we're going to wait for those items. All right, the reason why I'm slicing through only 4 of these items is because all we need is the top 4. All right, and then if you don't find anything, we're going to go ahead and await, and we're going to put that parameter into this whole HTML setup that I have for this text box. All right, so essentially what Wix gives you is an option to give a basic text into this text parameter. So that means we could do a .text here instead of a .html, or we can do a .html and actually style it up a little bit. All right, and you'll see this style once we go ahead and preview this site. All right, so essentially we're going to go ahead and put this into an HTML format, and we're going to align it to center, and we're going to do it based on the class of P2, which in this case is based on the type of text that you have. All right, so this is going to be paragraph 2, so that's going to be this parameter right here. All right, this element item, it's going to be showing up in P2. All right, and then also the results here, we're going to go ahead and bolden this this parameter that we have here, so that we can say that, hey, we haven't found this result, and essentially it's going to be the same thing that the person puts in to the search bar. All right, and then also we have here is to expand the no results box after that's completed, and then also to take everything out of the results repeater so that we don't mess up anything. Okay, and then also we're going to collapse the state box. All right, which is right here, the result state box. All right, so essentially we got that done. Now all we have to do is focus in on this repeater, okay? And then we should be good to go to preview this thing, okay? So essentially we're gonna go to repeater, and we're gonna go and head on over to our add button here for item ready function here, okay? We're gonna add that function to this page code. So once I added this function to the page code, I'm going to go ahead and speed through this real quick, but essentially we're going to add all of the items on here that we want to deal with and put the information into the data. That is like happening right here, okay? So we're putting this information into the data, and this is going to populate, and the way that we populate that is by setting the data to the actual data items that we collect, and then also just to make sure that those element items get the proper data filled in with them. We're going to do that here in this onItemReady. All right, so just give me a few seconds. Now I'm going to go ahead and just space this out real quick. I was just in a hurry just to get this thing typed up for you guys. All right, and so what essentially I'm doing here is I'm placing these data items, like I said before, into this repeater. All right, and we're gonna set those items to the different types of element items that we have here. We're gonna set those data items to the element items that we have. All right, just like I was saying, we have here is a search title that I labeled as the ID, and then we have the search excerpt. All right, and this is going to be the excerpt information that we pull from the data that's right here, the post items. All right, so essentially you can do more with the information that you get from this search, because essentially I didn't limit the certain items that I was going to pull out from the post database. All right, so this is actually pulling more information about the post. So if you guys want to add in any type of image in here, you guys could put an image into the repeater and then essentially just come down here to the item on ready and then just insert that image in. Okay, easy, simple way to put on your search. Okay, but essentially I'm just going to go through this conditional statement and then the onClick parameter. Right, so essentially what we're going to do here is we're going to input this information. Now I'm only checking to see if it's over 50 because I actually tailored it to just 50 characters to be shown here. But essentially I don't want to have all of the posts to be shown if it's a long title or if it's more than 100 characters for the excerpt, because we don't want that much information to show on this little itty bitty screen. So essentially what I did was I go ahead and check to see if they're greater than 50, and then I just go ahead and put some 3 dots on it just to style it up and post that result there. Now for the container click, I have this onClick function here, and then also use the Wix location that we put up here at the top. All right, and then we're gonna do item, and then we're gonna say post URL, post page URL. And I actually go into detail about that in an earlier tutorial beforehand, but I just essentially want to tell you that you go to post here and then you will see where it says the post page URL. All right, so as you can see, we'll just scroll here and scroll on over, all right, until we get to that. And okay, so as you can see here, this is the post page URL. If we go to properties, we'll see that this field key says post page URL. So that's an easy way to find out where are the URLs for this, and so that we can actually take that user from that other page to the actual post page, all right, wherever you are on the site. Because essentially this is a Lightbox, so we can take that code that we did on the post page and we can apply that to the site page if we want to put it up in the header or put it down in the footer, or put it elsewhere on pages. We can put it on the page code, however you want to do it. I know I went on a tangent real quick, but I just want to get back to what I was talking about here. And what I'm talking about here is this location here. We're going to take our visitor to that actual post page. All right, and essentially I think we are already done with all of this, so all we have to do is preview and test it out. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and first off save this. Then I'm going to exit out of this Lightbox mode because I know I don't want to just start in the search Lightbox element. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this, minimize this down, and I'm going to go ahead and preview it. All right, so as you can see here, we have 5 ways to stand out from your competitors, and this is a blog here, and then we got our popular posts here, but oh, we have a search. So we're gonna go ahead and search something. All right, I'm gonna search the, and I'm gonna press enter. So I press enter, it seems to be working. Boom, awesome. It went through the search data, it found out 2 of my posts have the word the in the excerpt or in the post title itself, okay? And as you can see, I can choose from which one I want to choose, all right? If we press this X button, let's go ahead and try to see that. All right, awesome. I'm gonna put in the word. How about that? Is that in there? No. So as you can see, it says, sorry, no results found in Word. And actually it is styled up in our HTML format that we had originally put into the code. All right, as you can see, this whole thing is bolded. All right, awesome. And it's of the same item here. And then as we key press on, we can go ahead and do all of this stuff, and it will actually reevaluate whatever it is in this input item here, and then place that within the text element. So I'm going to go ahead and exit that, and I'm going to say the word "the" again. Okay. And so essentially what it's going to do is it's going to find that word, and it's going to search those items. As you can see, it searched the items, and I'm going to go ahead and press the mistake that every small business makes, because I'm very interested in that. So I'm going to click that, and boom, as you can see, it goes straight to my post. All right. And there you have it, guys. That is your search for your blog. All right. This is a search parameter for your blog. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Definitely give it a shot. And if you have any questions, you know what to do. Drop it below. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. And if you like this video, hit that like button. Subscribe if you aren't already. And I'll see you in the next video, guys. All right. Ciao.